Hey guys, Boz here. This is a look at my thoughts on Anthem. Now, this is from EA slash Origin, came developed by BioWare, and it's a looter shooter. But I wanted to give you my thoughts on it and how I felt about it, and if I would have bought it if I wasn't a Access Premier member. So, really quickly, let me just talk about the Origin Access. I'm not getting paid by Origin for anything. There's no money exchanging hands. I paid the 99.99 for a year of Origin Access Premier. It's either 14.99 a month or $99.99 a year. They also have Origin Access, which is not the Premier feature, but the generic one, the lesser one, which is $4.99 a month or $30, $29.99 a year. Now, Access, the $4.99 one, gives you pre-release trials of their upcoming games. So basically, you get like a 10-hour trial of any one of their new games, like Anthem. And after that, you'd have to buy it. It also gives you access to their vault, which has like a collection of 100 games, and those games can rotate somewhat. And I think you get a 10% discount on all your purchases through the Origin store. Now, Premier gives you pretty much the same access to the vault and the same 10% discount, but you get all of the full versions of all the new games like Anthem, and I'll mention others later at the end of this. You get a few more games in the vault. I think there's 189 for Premiere, and there's only 182. Things like A Way Out, Sims 4, Need for Speed, Star Wars Battlefront 2, all that kind of stuff. So I felt like for me, the 99.99 was a better one because I wanted to play the new NFL Madden just to see what it was like. That's a $60 game if I wanted to play it or buy it. I wanted to play Star Wars Battlefront 2, and that's a $60 game. And I wanted to play Anthem. So there'll be multiple games, and I felt like if I would play any two of those and buy them at $60, that's $120. So why not just go ahead and do this? I think you also get some in-game stuff with Premiere, extra content for their new games. So like with Anthem, you got some skins and some in-game loot or in-game cash or whatever. So you get a little bit more with the Premiere. It's up to you guys if it's worth it to you. If you don't have a PC and you're an Xbox user, they also have the EA Access, I think it's called. It's the same exact type of thing, but it's for the consoles, for Xbox. All right, so my thoughts on Anthem, and if I didn't have Premiere, would I buy it? So this new game is from BioWare. This is an action RPG looter shooter. It's basically like Destiny, or think maybe Division in space, Warframe. You play a character. It's called a freelancer, and you're kind of the hero, like you are in all games generally. And you're tasked with saving the world or universe in this case against evil. I'm not going to get a lot into the detail because if you want to play it, it'd be better for you to play it and experience it. The game does look good. It plays really smooth for me. I did have the occasional hiccups in play, and I had a couple of crashes. I do want to mention too, one thing I forgot to mention, when you do the Origin Premiere, you do get like a week early access. So I played this a week before it came out like all other Premiere members. So it's kind of funny for people who pre-order, you have to wait till the release date, but if you're a Premier member, you get to play the game a week early. There was also a couple spots, just talking about problems, where I got stuck in the map in a couple areas. Now those were before the official release, after the week of Premiere, so maybe those were fixed. The main storylines, the game, and the way the story goes through, it's decent. The voice acting and the animations for the voice acting are pretty good.
Ready, Chaplain One?
Ready when you are. We've got your back. You go there and you kick some ass.
However, there's much that frustrates me with Anthem. The missions are very tedious, and while you expect this somewhat in like a looter shooter, RPG, the main missions they still feel stale. And like little effort was put into trying to vary them up for a little spice. There seems like there's like 3, maybe 4 generic types of missions. Hold a point, get some glowy balls, bring them back to here. It didn't seem like there was a lot of varying it to vary things up, and I think that's kind of important. Now this is a multiplayer game, but it's a PvE game. There's no PvP, so you can pretty much do the story missions solo if you want. The game does always kind of try to put you in matchmaking, or you can play it with people you know. So if you have a group of friends to play with, that might be better. You get 3 of your buddies. and go in, or you can use the generic matchmaking that it kind of by default wants to start and get put in with random teammates. Now, I will say, if you random matchmake, you could get put into a group with people who will just bull rush through a mission. And if you get far enough behind them, the people out in front, even if it's just one guy, the game will give you a countdown and then throw you all the way up to the front where the leader is. So if you're trying to experience maybe different parts of the mission, you may not be able to. And that can even happen if you play with your friends, if you have someone who's overzealous, or you just like to take your time maybe. I preferred to play solo through the campaign, the main mission. But one thing I didn't like is, there was a couple times where I had to do matchmaking to do a few parts of it, though. But I played solo as much as I could. Now, one thing I didn't like is many times when I was fighting a boss, as you can kind of see in this clip that's playing right now, I've got this boss down to about 25% of their health, and I'm going under cover here to kind of reload and get my health back or whatever. And as I pop back out, the boss is gone and just died. And I didn't do any damage to it. And I've seen this happen on quite a few occasions where just some of the mobs and some of the enemies, be it bosses or whatever, just disappear at times. And it wasn't like there was some other AI there helping me. So that was kind of frustrating, because you put a lot of effort into taking out a boss. You don't mind if they disappear and you win, but I wanted to be the person who did all the damage, not just have the game either on purpose, just go ahead and get rid of them, because maybe I took too long or something, or it just glitched. I have no idea. But my biggest gripe, though, is I just didn't feel the desire to keep playing it once I finished the main story. There's no PvP, so it seems pointless to just quest over and over for the best loot, to just do more random missions or try more harder difficulty. In a game like Ubisoft's Division, I really did have a real desire to try to get the best loot, the best gear sets, and then go into the dark zone and face other players, run missions in there where I had the risk of getting PvP'd. The loot in this game is another issue. I felt like the guns and other gear were pretty uninspiring. I didn't really like the inventory system and the gear system. It was okay, but I really liked Division. I think Destiny did a good job with it, and Warframe does a good job. I also didn't like that I could get all kinds of loot, multiple types of guns, be it shotguns, be it snipers, be it assault rifles, grenade launchers, whatever. But I had to wait until the end of a mission before I could even look at them. And to do that, I had to finish the mission, and then I go to the forge, so the forge would have to load. I could then equip 2 guns, a primary and secondary, so maybe I'm trying 1 new gun or 2. And then I had to load the main base area. Then I could go to the mission selector, which I had to load and jump into my mech. And then I could go to the mission, and maybe when I got there, I was like, man, I don't like this gun. And you can't carry anything extra. You equip a primary and you equip a secondary, and that's it. So if you don't like your loadout or this gun that you just got that you're trying, you're either going to have to suffer through the mission with that gun and the other one, both guns you don't like, depending on what you changed, or you're going to have to abort the mission, go back, reload the forge, and kind of repeat this whole process. I would much prefer like other looter shooters where you have more of an inventory, where you can carry multiple weapons and switch out during the mission if you really wanted to. And I did that a lot in Division. Maybe at certain points I would want to have a shotgun for close range, but then other points I'd maybe flip it over to a sniper. Now I know some purists might say that it's not realistic. You can't carry more than 2 on your freelancer suit. It wouldn't be realistic. But I think we're already giving up some realism. Like for example, the fact that when you kill spider creatures, they drop ammo. And this is just common in RPGs and looter shooters. You have to give up some realism just for gameplay and just making things enjoyable. So I think they should have made it where you could carry, multiple gear items and gun items so you could change things out during a mission. I also didn't like that at one point after doing some of the main story, I mentioned this earlier, I was forced to go into like free roaming and do a bunch of boring things like get X number of chests open and do some X number of like skill kills, combo skill kills or whatever. I just felt like that kind of took me out of the game. It just felt weird that like the story just stopped and you kind of had to like basically do that. I know some people got confused about what they were supposed to do next. But once you got past that, then the story resumed and it pretty much continued on through the finish. While I did find the main storyline entertaining, I wouldn't pay $60 for this game. Luckily, I had Origin Access Premier already, so I didn't have to pay anything else. If I didn't, I probably would not buy this game until it hit the $10 to $15 range, unless they make some dramatic changes to it. I would recommend, if you're wanting to check it out and you don't want to drop $60, pay $5 for Origin Access. You know, if money's tight, that's the cheapest option. That'll let you do a 10-hour trial of the game, and you can just cancel your access so you don't have to get charged another $5 at the end of the month. But you can play 10 hours of it, and that may be all you want, or it may be enough that you like it. You could upgrade to the Premier if you really wanted to. You could buy the game. Or what you could do is you could pay the $9.99 for 1 month of Premier, cancel it so it ends after the month, and you could play Anthem, you could play Madden, and there's other titles that I think are Premier only. But you can also play, you know, Star Wars Battlefront, A Way Out, Need for Speed, Battlefield 1, Sims 4, Burnout Paradise. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But you can do those also with just the basic access. But the new titles like FIFA 19, the Madden 19, Battlefield 5, I believe, those are all only for Premier. So you could do a month and play all of those titles as much as you want during that month, and then just cancel it. I do think if you've got the money and you think that you're going to be playing at least 2 titles of EA's every year, the $99.99 one-time payment for a year is pretty compelling. But all in all, I was hoping really for more from Anthem, especially with BioWare being behind it and the long development time this game had. But I ultimately found it lacking, and I'm waiting eagerly for the Division 2 in a few weeks to get my looter shooter RPG needs taken care of. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did, hit thumbs up. You know, and if you want to subscribe and follow the channel, do that. You can hit the little bell notification there below the video to get alerts whenever I put up new content. If you want to follow me on any of the social media like Twitter, you want to follow my Twitch, the Facebook page for the channel, all that's in the description of the video. You can also be a patron on my Patreon page, and there's a new join button you see here below the video. If you hit that, it's very much like on Twitch where you pay $4.99 a month to support the creator. For my patrons and for the people who support me using that join button here. But I'm also going to do a video a month where we kind of do some behind the scenes stuff, what I'm going to be working on, or maybe some questions that some of you might have, or just that type of stuff. And then I also, for the patrons and for the people who join support the channel, I'm going to do some behind the scenes talks about the crew and what went on during the past. And I have some videos that I've never released that were stuff that was kind of cringeworthy that I'm going to release also. So take care, guys. See you in the next video. Hey, if you like the video, hit that subscribe button, those thumbs ups, comment in the video. If you don't like it, that's fine too. And if you want to support the Patreon so that we can do more projects, there's a link in the description of the video.